Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well by God's grace. Today I'm back with your next topic, that is a short story, Out of Business. This is written by R.K. Narayan. He was a very famous Indian author. He belonged to Chennai. His famous works include The English Teacher, The Vendor of Sweets. There are many more, but one which I remember very vividly is Malgudi Days. This was a very famous serial which used to come on TV. Malgudi was not an actual place, it was an imaginary village in Tamil Nadu. Now, in the pink box given in your book, it is being asked to you if we should take shortcut methods or not. In the chapter, we'll come to know with an example if we should follow shortcuts or we should not follow shortcuts. Let's start. Now the story starts as such. It is in past tense. A little over a year ago, Rama Rao, he went out of work, means he became unemployed. The company which he worked for went out of existence, means the business collapsed. Now what company was he working for? He used to work for a gramophone company which was situated somewhere in the northern India. This is a gramophone. I'm sure you must have seen this in music videos, or you must have seen this if not heard music on this. And this is what he was dealing in the sale of. So he was the Malgudi agent, means he was working in his village Malgudi as the agent of that company, and for 5 years he was earning a good deal of money. He was having profits. He was able to set up a small bungalow for his house, and he was able to provide all the good comforts to his family, his wife and his 2 children. He was even planning to buy a second-hand car. He had invested everything in the business, even his inheritance, what all he had inherited, that money also he had put as security in the company for his business. But then what happened? The bolt from the blue came. It means suddenly when something bad happens. जब किसी पे बिजली गिरती है तो that person is not expecting it ना. So suddenly if something bad happens, it is bolt from the blue. So what actually led to the collapse of his business? It did not happen because of one thing. It was a series of happenings, means many things worked together to collapse the big gramophone company. It came to a stop when the bank in Lahore, which was financing it, collapsed. Why did the bank in Lahore collapse? Because its financier, who was in Bombay, now it is known as Mumbai, he died. He was driving his car and he had a big accident. Now some even say that it was a suicide because the previous night his wife ran away with his cashier. Eloped. Elope means when 2 lovers run away, that is eloped. Because of the financier's death, the bank which he was financing collapsed. And because of the bank which collapsed, the company in North India collapsed. And because of the main company collapsing, Rama Rao's small business also came to a stop, and he was without any work. Initially, Rama Rao could not understand the full impact of what had happened, because he was having a little money and he was also having a little stock with him. Stock means of the gramophone. But we know that when a company closes and the products of that company don't hold much value, so he was not able to sell the stuff for much money, and the money which he was having as savings in his bank was also finishing every day. So now, in order to save the expenses, what the wife did, she took out the children from an expensive nursery school and put them in a free primary school. Next, she sent away the servants and the cooks, and finally they gave away their bungalow on rent and themselves shifted to a small house behind the market. Now what next? Obviously Rama Rao had to find a new job, and he used to send many applications every day, and he used to go out in search of job as well, but it was of no use. It is easier for a young person to get a job instead of an unemployed 40-year-old man. And he didn't even know how to apply for a job. He used to himself accept that he was responsible for the failing of a very big business and he was in need of a job. Now hearing this, obviously no one else would give him a job, so they used to turn him down very politely and used to tell him, yeah, you can leave your card with us, we will let you know if there is any job. But they never used to call him back. Looking at the faces of his waiting wife and children, he used to remember the hard work he used to put every day in searching for a job and how it was futile. Futile means of no use. And then he used to force himself to pretend to be a little happy and ask them about how their day was, but they used to give him very feeble responses. Feeble means very weak responses, because they used to understand that their life was not going to get better as he was not getting any job. It rent his heart to see them in such condition, because they used to have a very different lifestyle. His wife used to wear very bright clothes and used to have kitty parties, and she used to live a very grand life. She used to have cooks and all servants, and now she used to spend the entire day in kitchen cooking. And even his children, they used to play with so many friends in the bungalow, and now they had no friends at all. Earlier they used to get new clothes every 3 months, but now it had been a long time and they had no money to buy even clothes for their children. Their shirts had started showing tears. So watching them in such a pathetic condition, it used to break Ramarao's heart, and he did not know what to do, because he was trying his level best to find a job, but he was not getting a job. A time came that all their savings was gone. Whatever they had in the bank, all the cash in their hand, it was finished entirely. Now the only income which they were getting was the rent from the bungalow which they had rented. They shuddered to think. Shuddered means roo kaam jana, to even imagine what would happen if at all the tenants would leave their house. Tenants means किराएदार. अगर वो घर छोड़ देंगे तो they would have no source of income left. One day what happened, Rama Rao went to the Jubilee reading room. It was a kind of library where you can get magazines and all, and he came across a journal named The Captain. Journal means something which has 3 to 4 pages, and it has puzzles and crossword, everything in it. Now every week this journal of 4 pages, which had crossword puzzles on each page, used to offer a prize money of 4,000 rupees. It was a very big amount considering it was the olden time. Now Rama Rao found this way to earn money. He thought that I'm not getting a job, so this is a shortcut method which I can take and earn fast cash immediately. Earlier at least he used to acknowledge his family when they used to wait for him, but nowadays he was so consumed with the journal, he was so obsessed that he started ignoring his family. The entire time he used to keep thinking about the answers, and because of this he started drifting away from his family. Every week he would invest a little money in the puzzle, and then after sending in the answers he would wait with a palpitating heart. He started spending most of his time outside the Jubilee reading room, where he would try to get a sneak peek into the new journal. And of course the person who was selling this, he would grumble, he would not like showing it to him without the money. And then Rama Rao would tell him that if you help me out now, a time will come when I am going to win this crossword puzzle, and then I am going to give you straight away 3 years subscription for the journal. So he used to boast without even knowing if he would actually win or not. Every week he used to go and try to get the name of the winners, and his heart used to quail. Quail means ekdam dar jana, okay? When he used to open the winners page, and he would find that someone in Baluchistan had won, someone in some other part of the world, but not him. It used to take him 3 hours to recover from this shock. He used to expect that he would win, and every week he would go into a shock that how come I did not win the prize. And after 3 hours he would again go for the new journal to try again. He started alternating between hope and despair. Alternate. Every week when he used to fill in the journal, he used to have hope that he would win, and when the result came, he would have despair. He would feel sad, dejected, and then again he would fill the next week's puzzle and he would again have hope. So this was not good for his mental state, because this started affecting his nerves and his balance. He stopped talking to anyone in the family. He was so obsessed with the puzzle that the only thing he was concerned about was winning. When he used to ask his wife for money, 1 rupee for the journal, and if at all she used to refuse, he even started quarreling with his wife. Now his wife, she was of a very mild disposition, so whenever he used to fight with her, she used to give him the money quietly. Now one day what happened, the journal, instead of the usual 4,000, it announced a cash prize of 8,000, which was double the money. So this excited Rama Rao like anything. He was very excited and he was sure that he will win this time. But there were only 4 doubtful corners. 4 doubtful corners. Only 4. It means that the entire puzzle was doubtful for him. And so he made a grand plan. What was his grand plan? That he has 4 doubts, so he will send 4 entries instead of 1, so that at least one of the entry will hit the prize money. He decided that in order to win the grand prize, he will be needing a grand sacrifice. The grand sacrifice of 5 rupees, which meant a week's food for the entire family. And when he made this atrocious demand, she was left speechless that instead of 1 rupee, now you're demanding 5 rupees. But she was not a quarrelsome lady, so finally she had to give him the money he was demanding, even though it meant that their household expenses would be in a very bad situation, but she could not do anything about it. He was sad for a little time when he thought that he was doing something very wrong towards his family, but then he only had to think about the answers of his journal and he became normal. Now I feel that he is a little stupid because he is not able to find the answer of a simple puzzle. The puzzle goes as such that men prefer this to despair. Despair means dukh. So he was confused between hope, dope or rope. Obviously it is hope. People prefer hope to despair, but he was thinking about dope and rope, so he was not very sharp, but still he was trying and wasting money. Finally he sent his responses through registered post and he started making castles in air. Castle in air hota hai khayali pulav banana, means counting your chickens before they hatch. अभी कुछ हुआ नहीं है, उससे पहले you start imagining कि अच्छा अब मैं जीत जाऊंगा तो मैं ऐसा करूंगा. So that is what he also started doing. This is very important from an examination point of view. He planned that even if he wins a part of the prize money, that would be a lot of money, and he would give it in the hands of his wife. He would take his family back to the bungalow and it would be sufficient for them for a few years. He would then take a few 100 rupees and go to Madras, and there he would do some business and make a lot of profit. So by the time the money in his wife's hand gets over, he would have backup. Finally the big day of results arrived and Rama Rao was very excited, but when he opened the answers, he was very shocked to know that he had made many blunders. Blunders means mistakes. He had made so many mistakes that forget a big amount of money, he could not even get a few annas. Athanni bhi nahi milti usko. He moped till the evening. Moped means when you're sad about something and you remain very gloomy about it. उसी में गुमसुम रहना. And the more he brooded about this, brooded मतलब जितना ज़्यादा he was thinking on it, he knew that this was a big mistake he had made because he had wasted so much of money. And the more he thought about his stupid decisions, his life started seeming intolerable to him. All the losses, all the disappointments, all the failures of his life, every bad decision, every bad happening of his life, it rushed to him. This happens when you're in a bad mood. आपको पुराना भी सब याद आएगा कि वो भी गलत हुआ था, ये भी गलत हुआ था, this went wrong, that went wrong, and everything comes to you at once, and that makes you feel all the more depressed. He felt that there was nothing left in this life, so instead of walking home, he took the other route towards the railway lines. According to him, the only way to put an end to this sad story would be to put an end to it altogether. So he decided to commit suicide. He laid down on the railway tracks. He felt happy that now within 10 minutes the next train would arrive and his life would come to an end. He remained there for a very long time, but no train came. Finally he got up and didn't go towards his house, but still he went towards the station. And there he came across many people who had crowded in the station, and he asked them what is the matter. Then he came to know, some passenger told him that a train, a goods train means Malgudi, had derailed. Derailed means going off the tracks, patri se utar jana, 3 stations back. And because of that, all the trains had been put to a stop. Now, when that train would be put back on track, only then the other trains could move. When Ramarao heard this, this made him realize that God had shown him mercy. Why? Because this was an indication that God had given him another chance. Why? Because had the train not been derailed, Ramarao would have died, because within 10 minutes the train would have run over him. So that made him realize that, oh my God, God has actually shown me mercy and he has given me another chance. And then he started running towards his house. When he returned home, he saw that his wife was still waiting for him on the door, although it was very late, but she was still waiting anxiously for him. She was looking very worried, and when she saw him, she got relieved. She welcomed him with a warmth that had gone missing in the previous year because of his behavior only. But then she asked him, why are you so late? Where were you? I was feeling so restless the entire evening. Even the children were worried and they've just gone to sleep. They had been waiting for you since evening. He did not respond at all. Finally, when he sat down to eat, that is the time when his wife informed him that the tenants who were living in the bungalow, they had offered to buy the bungalow. She very quietly added that I think we should sell the house. He unexpectedly replied saying that yeah, that's a very good idea. At this moment we will get 4,500 rupees for the house and we can split the money. You can keep the 4,000 and run the house accordingly, and I can take the 500 and go to Madras and look for some good opportunity to do some business. But let us first shift to some better locality, because currently where they were living was not a very good place. It was the backside of a market. The wife got a little worried because he used to fight with her for money. So when he said that I will take the 500 rupees, she assumed and she asked him if this money he would again invest in the crossword puzzle. He felt depressed because he just realized that he had almost killed himself because of the crossword puzzle. And then he swore with a great emphasis, swore means kasam khana, that no, never again, I am not going to invest in crossword puzzles anymore. So that is how the story ends. Now coming to the question which I asked you in the beginning of the chapter, that should we follow shortcuts or not? So according to the story and in general, we should not go for shortcuts, because although it might save time, but it is not sure that we will always get the desired result. So it is better that we invest our time in hard work, because hard work always pays up in the long run. It is a saying that hurry makes bad curry. Jaldi ka kaam shaitan ka hota hai. So instead of going for shortcuts, we should work hard and do the work in the right way. That will also give us the satisfaction, because if we try to go for shortcuts, we worry about the outcome. But when you know that you are doing the things the right way, you are sure about the outcome. You know that you will achieve what you want to. Moral of the story: do not follow shortcuts and work hard, because as it is said, God helps those who help themselves. So yeah, that's all about this chapter. I hope you've understood it, and in case if you face any difficulty, do let me know. God bless you. Love your parents. Stay home and stay safe.